Today we're talking about today's current situation. I never intended to film this, I never planned on it, but I just had this sudden urge earlier at work to just speak up and talk about it here on YouTube, because I've already had my conversations, I've already taken some time to educate myself, to soak in a lot of things this past week, and I was a little hesitant because my channel was not ever supposed to be controversial, political, any of that, but here we are. 2020 had different plans for us, and in my last video I talked about COVID-19 and immigrants, and now I'm talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't want to look back and regret not speaking up in my platform, or just kind of like skimming over this historical time really that we're living. So yeah, I just wanted to speak about it. I recognize that I'm not black, I'm a person of color, I'm Hispanic, but those two are not interchangeable, and I know that. I'm just a nobody. I'm just me talking about how I feel. If there's people out here on YouTube who post videos reacting to music videos, then I can sure as hell talk about my reaction to today's current situation. At the very beginning of all this, I actually saw the George Floyd video on Instagram. I saw this video, and obviously I was not surprised when people started fighting for justice for George Floyd. And obviously fast forward to now, June 6th, the 3 officers involved are facing charges finally. George Floyd was a catalyst of this Black Lives Matter movement now, happening right now. And thanks to all those posts fighting for George Floyd, thanks to all of those people who stood up for him and stood up to police brutality, unfair due process, and racism, thanks to all of that, this is all happening. Thanks to those people, I learned about Breonna Taylor, I learned about Ahmaud Arbery, and all these other names that have been mentioned since then. All these names, and they just won't stop coming in, of all these individuals who have been targeted simply for being black. And that is the whole point of the Black Lives Matter movement, that it's unjust and racism exists. So learning about all those stories and reading all the posts and educating myself, I completely stand with Black Lives Matter. And this whole movement has opened up topics that we have never talked about, many of us. I've never really talked to people outside of my race about racism. It's just something that me and my fellow Hispanics talk about. But to be completely honest with you, I didn't really talk about these two white people or even Asians, or like people that are different than me but still experience racism. I have opened up my eyes to the reality that is police brutality and all these other things, and I'm so grateful that this whole situation is bringing all those topics to light, and having these conversations are difficult. So this past week, what I have been doing is stepping back, reading, educating, donating, signing petitions, doing my own work within me to form my own opinion and to have some personal growth. Aside from that, I've had conversations, like I said, with other people, and for some reason I was very nervous to have a conversation with my own family, and not for any reason in particular other than we were just not raised to talk about social issues at home. Coming from a traditional Hispanic family, we just didn't talk and address these things openly, and it went very well. We were able to talk about it, share our thoughts, share our feelings, and that was significant to me. You don't have to be an activist or someone with a lot of money or a lot of power to make a change, but you can do it small scale. You can help in your own capacity. For me, it was talking to my family, it was signing petitions and donating. Honestly, I wasn't a protester. For transparency, I did not protest, simply for the fact that COVID is still around, and my fiance works for pharma, so he literally can't even get a cold right now because he then can't work. It's that serious. I just didn't have like a heartfelt need to go out and protest, but I support protesters. With that being said, I don't think protesting and looting and rioting are the same thing. I think those are all 3 different things, and some actions of people claiming to fight for justice have resulted in a bad image of the protesters, and this is so unfortunate. I also don't think that it's right that a lot of companies, influencers, and people with a following have been attacked for not putting up a black screen on their page. how would you know if a company is posting something in solidarity, they genuinely care, or if you're just pushing them and they just feel like they have to, like a responsibility to do it so that they don't lose a following or like your, you know, customers. So I don't know, that stuff is just a little weird, and I think people should just kind of take a mental note, recognize it, and then decide, make an educated decision on whether they want to continue supporting a company or an influencer or not. But pushing people and pressuring them to say something, I just think it's counterproductive. I've had conversations about people who hashtag all lives matter, and it's important to educate those people about why all lives matter is irrelevant to what is going on right now, because really everything that's occurring right now is about the injustices made to the Black people because they have been targets. And you can't say the same, and you can't argue if you haven't been a target. Do you know what I mean? I'm so glad to have friends and people on my own following and my own friends that recognize white privilege even when they haven't been affected by it, even if they are white and even if they're Hispanic and they've never been oppressed by, you know, white privilege or racism or something like that. So yeah, I'm glad that I've been having all these conversations and all these things have been coming up for people to learn and grow and better themselves. It's dangerous to generalize people. It's just dangerous to say that all protesters are bad. It's dangerous to say that all white people are racist. It's dangerous to say that all Black people are criminals, or all cops are bad. It's all dangerous. And I'm gonna have a link and information below in my description so you guys can learn about why this is dangerous, because putting people in a category and making decisions based off what category they belong in is just not right. So something that is being promoted right now is to check in on your friends, check in on your Black friends, and check on their mental state, and you know, just check in and see how they're doing. And a personal anecdote of mine, the other day I had a doctor's appointment and my doctor was Black. This is literally right in the middle of it, and when the riots were pretty bad and there was a curfew and everything. So I was at my doctor's office, and I didn't know whether to bring it up or not. I mean, it's like a professional environment. I'm her patient, she's my doctor. She was doing a pap on me, or so I don't know if that's what it was, but the point is that I did not address it. I didn't even bring it up to her because I just thought, you know what, I'm a patient, she's my doctor, and I feel kind of uncomfortable speaking about this. But later on I felt a little shamed and a little like guilty for not bringing it up. So I don't know if I did wrong or right. I don't know if there's a wrong or right. But with that in mind, today I actually went to work, and I got to work with one of my coworkers who's Black, and I don't get to work with him often. But today it just so happened that we were working around the same shift, and I went back and forth with myself. Should I address this? Should I talk to him? Should I just ask him how he's doing? Should I check in? We're not really that close. And my fear was that I'd bring something up and then he'd just feel overwhelmed, because I'm sure he's gotten a lot of attention in this last week about this. So yeah, I decided to just check in, just, you know, kindly say, hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling about everything? And he answered very nicely. He said, I wasn't surprised by his answer. He said he was feeling drained. He feels tired, exhausted. He's glad that there's, you know, movement and things going on. But at the same time, he expressed to me that this is nothing new. People have been fighting for the Black community for years and years and years, and unfortunately he doesn't know if this will be the end. He doesn't think it would be the end. He thinks that this will have to be repeated over and over again. And all I could do at that point was just, you know, hear him out. And we didn't talk about it for long. We were at work, but he did thank me for even asking him. So I think it's important to check in on the people that you know on, and don't hold back from asking. You know, the worst thing that could happen is they just, you know, they're just like, well, I don't really want to talk about it right now. But that's fine too, you know, it's totally fine. So yeah, I don't want to keep rambling. My camera has died on me like 2 times already, but thanks for hearing me out. I really appreciate it. And I welcome any and all conversations. If you guys would like to reach out, talk to me, have conversations with each other, and that would be great. So I really hope that we talk next time about good things, hopefully. And I do want to get on here and just post different kinds of content. So I will see you guys very soon. Stay safe and take care, guys. Bye.